working now? Hey, welcome back, ninjas, to Naruto. Yeah. I got called Kakashi. I've been called Goku because I'm big, and Kakashi because I'm cool. Mysterious. Yeah, I really have though. Anyway, I love Naruto because, um, there's the level of reality called living in it, don't know it's divine yet. And then there's another level of reality where reality wakes you up to the fact that it knows you. And so we say consciousness is a miracle because it exists transcendental to all happening. And Naruto has signs of that. There are cosmic foreshadowings in Naruto. And one of the habitual signature marks of a really good series is the series will reject you and push you away a little bit. And it's just so you live your life. You're not going to live out a fantasy. You're not going to live through a fantasy. Naruto has inspired, so you don't know, I watched the anime all the way up until like 2005. And then I read the manga ahead of time. I completed the series when the manga completed. And then I stopped watching. I saw the pain arc, stuff like that. But for me, Naruto isn't a perfect series. There are things about Naruto that I just hate, like Sasuke. Like Sasuke's arc. Sasuke is so frustrating, and when he chooses to come around to different ideas, it's just kind of like, it's just really just. I can see the storyteller trying to make it up, and even calling his son Boruto, like bore, getting boring now. You sure you don't want to quit this thing? And he uses like eye techniques. It's like as soon as the Sharingan was really popular, they did the Rinnegan, but the Rinnegan isn't any different than the Sharingan. They can't give any tangible explanation for why the Rinnegan is different than the Sharingan, other than it's just eye techniques were popular the first time. Let's do it again. Um, I thought the height of the series was the Chunin exams because there was adventure in a new area and there was a tests of skill with just meganotic characters. Like Gaara is just a super character. Gaara is a favorite today because he stayed a good Hokage. He was so tested as a youth that he was willing to. And I think Naruto helped calm his twisted nature. Um, but yeah, Itachi I didn't like. He murdered his whole family. He's never going to be a hero. And the idea that they were going to kill the Leaf, I just don't know why he would be loyal to the Leaf. Like he's kind of like a lost soul. You know what I mean? Um, and the other thing about third eye illusion magic that has to do with real life is in real life, this is true. There is a point in time, not everyone will have it. I did, where the universe wakes you up to the fact that it's aware of you. And I'm not talking about people, I'm talking about it, the one, the thing. And in it, you'll realize life is a dream. Life is literally a dream. Like, what's around the next corner is determined by your vibe now and not by what was happening yesterday. Tomorrow at 8 a.m., who you see at the grocery store is not determined by physics, it's not determined by a schedule, it's determined by my vibration now. And there are people who don't know that. They literally are in what we call the delusion of Maya, is you think you are responding to the physical world, you don't know how it actually happened. And people who discover what I'm talking about will discover true magic. They will discover the true power that they could have. Um, and so Naruto gets close to that, but I don't know if the author ever fully takes it over that. You know what I mean? Is that technically a person who awakens like a Sharingan or a Rinnegan or even the Sage Mode power enough would come into contact with substantial reality and they would be able to create from their imagination miracles. They would technically be able to do that. And Naruto just kind of like, it's like a dogfight. Have you ever gotten a paper cut? Sucks. Naruto has way too much blood, way too much bloodshed, way too much suffering for it to be a good model for real life. It really is just kind of a blood show. And like they, when are you gonna just like it's just not it's not a real it's not a real thing. So the height of Naruto is I love the music is hype. Like when Shippuden, when that new music came out, oh my god, I used to listen to it every day. It was great. It was such a new sound. I remember even flying, right? Flying, talking about something a human can do. We can fly now. There are tons of humans in history who've wanted to do that who never even got to experience that. So it's pretty cool. I got to do it. But yeah, the Sakura I had when I was a kid, like in early high school, like a weeb. I think I had a crush on Sakura. I wanted a girlfriend as into me as Sakura was, as she was into Sasuke, but the universe never figured that out because if Sasuke turned around and said, "I love you, Sakura," the next day she'd be like, "I don't know if that's what I want." She'd like give up. But yeah, so Sasuke playing it, he suffered, and I don't like the whole like superpowers of the Sharingan that kill the user. Like it's like it meant to amp it up, but it was too oppressively harsh without enough like realization. And where the series does really well is when it's being creative. I like that. My favorite character was the bone guy. I think it was his name Kimimaru or something. He could control his bones. I thought that was cool. I thought that was really neat. Oshimaru was okay. I don't know why he came around to be a good guy. Like, and the name Boruto, I was like, okay, they're letting me know that if you didn't like the first time, this is gonna be more of the same. Like, I didn't like too how Naruto, like, I could tell he was just being a dumbbeat for like. The writer threw Naruto under the bus for Boruto. He said Naruto's not going to be the same character, and now he's basically reliving. For me, my perspective, the author is a very emotional, creative. He's a creative in the moment. He doesn't have a plan. I don't think so. I don't think the author has a plan at all. I think he just creates emotionally based on what's popular. You know what I mean? Like what resonated. He's like, I'm gonna do that again exactly. You know, so it's not that good. And I would have liked to have written more like, yeah, the character's like Naruto. Every single time he does a Rasengan, he's gonna shadow clone jutsu and Rasengan. You know, it's like, and then Kakashi's gonna Chidori. Same thing with Sasuke. They got two characters with their hype moves. They're just like the same thing every time, and it's like, why are you creating episodes? They're just like, it's kind of like spam fillers. So Naruto had some interesting contexts for some cool stuff. Um, I tried to talk about this earlier, but no one was feeling me. Was the reason the leaf is only 4 Hokages deep when there are only 4 generations of leaders in their town is because Japan had to be reset after World War II. They were forced to drop their monarchy and they were given a democratic republic by us. Said you have to surrender and choose to have a voting democracy, no more kings, and they did it. So just like Japan is a brand new nation, so was Konoha. So in a way, that was a way to speak to the Japanese people about staying alive amid enemies, because that's how it's been in Asia. If you're not exactly the Asian people of your hometown, you can assume that they're probably going to try to eat you, or maybe they will be allies. So yeah, I didn't like the tail beast plan. You got to get all the tail beasts to go back to the first sage. Like, it's too creation mythy. It just doesn't make any sense. It's like Adam and Eve, and then they left the garden and mated with normal humans who were in the world. Like, what does that mean? I mean, they were just there. It's like, and then it doesn't make any sense. So yeah. I like the idea that Madara's main plan was to end suffering through the control of third eye illusion magic, but technically that would be what would happen to you in enlightenment anyway. If you had truly gotten enlightened and you truly got God the God, think of God this way. He's before all cosmic happening. So this is a creature who basically the story of what's happening on earth is in his hands. He can completely change it. And that's the same thing with meditation. Like when people wake up spiritually, they become God. That's not an illusion. People have that experience, and when they do, they gain the ability to manifest. They gain the ability see visions of things, like to go into like to feel energy. Like people can feel my energy. I can do chi demonstrations. I've done that for years. I couldn't do it before I was enlightened. So enlightenment is your sense of self merging with real life. It's you as you really could be. So anyway, yeah, Naruto has a little bit of that. I mean, I really want to see Sakura and Naruto. I don't think making Sakura a healer was any good. She was a trash healer. Like she took forever, wasted her energy. It's basically like Sakura is just the appropriate feminine role, right? Too weak, needs to be saved, good for healing and touching, and it's like pretty chauvinistic. They just like most anime fans have just passed Naruto on their portrayal of Sakura, and yeah, she's just trash. Tsunade too. She had her blue diamond. She was secretly old. A witch using illusion to stay young is pretty much my story and many other stories. Like I've known eternal people. They're there. You just can't find them unless you're in that same vibration. So the night you get enlightened, you'll see all the super yogis who are hanging out you didn't know existed. And when I say a super yogi, I'm not talking about a dirty guy living in the Himalayas. I'm talking about a person who's like integrated their avatar self. Usually they've made their own clothes. Usually they have their own design. Like there are humans who are real just gods, just like Naruto in the world. And what I wonder if the creator of Naruto didn't know that. I wonder if he has no idea. He approached so close to the truth, but he didn't quite go over it. So I don't know. Will Naruto be around in 100 years? Like, bro, you gotta watch Naruto. You gotta see that. I don't know. Yeah, it covers some deep things like pain from war and wanting to inflict pain on other people due to war. That's kind of a deep idea. I can understand why people would get there. Um, but yeah, it can try. It's just too much of just a simple silly anime. It just does simple silly anime shit, including its storylines and when characters progress. And by the time Naruto had like every few episodes, Naruto has a new form of Sharingan. He not Sharingan, sorry, Rasengan. He's got to bust out. Why not give him something else? You don't need to make every ability in the freaking story a war weapon, and they've already used their third eye illusion mastery technique like way too many times. Like there's too many new things that are just reality mastery and control of the world and all that, and it's just like, yeah, they basically just bottomed out in the world of the energy controllers and the matter manipulators. Like at a certain point you're not going to have a universe left for the events to take place in, and that's what they did at the end of Naruto. It got so weird and like creation story and like these transcendental people that everything came from. It just was too weird. It was too weird. It was too much like a fever dream, just like it just wasn't grounded enough. And I thought Madara was stupid. Like the whole like who's Toby, Obito, Madara, all that stuff. Ugh, wasn't that good. Obito was great when he was funny, but when he became like a serious like plot twist device, I was like, okay, yeah. Naruto was a miss for me. I liked it and I kept up with it for years. And there's plenty of nerds who say I don't know anything about it and they're just jerks. I've seen it all. I remember all of it. Um, but yeah, just it missed where it should have hit, and just some of the things it does to the viewer routinely is just annoying. It's just annoying how Naruto treats the audience. It's like it literally is like I get the sense that the author of Naruto is like a sad alcoholic who doesn't really connect with what he's doing, and he actually hates his fans. He's like, my fans are. He doesn't trust his fans. He thinks they're stupid, and that's just enough that most people appreciate it. They're like, yeah, that is me. Maybe it'll be good. I've put out things online about Naruto and seen it change its context like almost overnight. So I think he listens. He definitely pays attention to what we're saying. But again, I've third eye illusion mastery control. Like, yeah, people like me are called Grateful Dead. That's a big secret, but I give the secret because that thing protects itself. The truth of truths is itself a living thing, and it doesn't let people who aren't ready see it or know about it. So, yeah, Buddha powers, stuff like that. So Naruto could be cool, but they you have a huge emphasis on fighting. Everything's a giant fight, and all their enemies have big, scary metal objects. Like, I really liked the Shikamaru and what's her name? Oh, she was hot, the blonde fangirl. I've been fucking, I want her. She was cool. I liked like the wind and shadow dynamic. Like that was cool. They get into those elements. Once they're resurrecting dead Hokages and once Sasuke's off on Orochimaru's trail, it's just kind of like the thing just kind of sucked. And then poor Kakashi's a wimp, just an absolute ragdoll. Like it's kind of cool he can use Amaterasu to disappear objects. That's awesome. That's kind of cool for him. But when you're getting into trans reality dumb and you're getting into trans reality, you kind of need to do something really deep about that. You kind of need to bring that out, and they just kind of hint at it, and then they reuse it over and over again. So it makes me think that the author doesn't actually know how close to the truth he came, and he is creating what he thinks is a fantasy, and he doesn't know how to make it any deeper. You know what I mean? It's like the author has. It's like it's almost like I get the sense he needs my help to figure out where to go next. I get that feeling. Um, but anyway, yeah. Naruto is really cool when it's being creative, but I haven't seen any of Boruto. As soon as I saw what they did to Naruto's character, they made him tall and dry, and he's like burdened with responsibility. Then I was just like, see, Naruto would lead. He would find his character persona in leading because he'd be able to have like a flash of childishness or inspiration that would put a lot of energy into his world. But who knows what he actually has to do as the leader of his village. Anyway, yeah. And like most series, I appreciate that they do have some sex in kids in the series because it is weird when like because of religion, like every TV show and movie, like it's like they don't really explain where people come from, and people are shown warring with each other and dealing with paranormal things rather than what's really happening, which is just romance and fucking and making new people. And so I like that Naruto makes some new people and they have a generational aspect. That's interesting. And it would be cute to come back to see where the generations have gone, you know. But yeah, there's some cool people in that world that they made up. I like some of them. Um, but to me, most of the major themes they give, they need to go deeper into. They need to have like a deeper explanation and connection for the audience. And they just kind of introduce them, then gloss over them and go, "That's enough. Time for fighting." And I just like, it just doesn't make sense. Like there's so many healing strategies that would bring that world. There are so many potentials for a real diplomat to bring that world together that they just don't do it because it wouldn't cause a war. They wanted a ninja war, like yeah. And I hate how there's just so many trash ninjas too. Like there's the main characters and they always win, and then there's these filler ninjas that just are like punching bags. It just it doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel real. Yeah, and some of the early Naruto stuff with like Zebza, like replacement technique, clone jutsus, like that's cool. But you're like 800 episodes in, still doing clone jutsus, and I'm like, okay, I'm a little tired of it now. Like, why wouldn't Naruto, when he makes copies of himself, be able to make different copies, or why wouldn't he be able to augment his body? He's like an energy being. He should have all these energy being like powers, and he's really just limited. It doesn't make any sense. So anyway, I want to like Naruto. I want to like it, but it just does hokey bad anime shit too often that I just probably won't read or watch it ever again. The shorts I'm watching with the cool music are hype, but just like the music in Naruto, there's a few new tracks. I think they improvised them one day, like they play them to emotion. The best music is improvised. The best music is improvised to feeling. You don't need to know how to play something. There's plenty of people who faked being good musicians because they've studied how to do techniques by looking at how to do it. They don't actually know how to feel it and play it by heart. Because if you feel it, you'll actually be way better than if you didn't, because you'll have synchronistic luck. You're on a type of energy manifestation scale that will work with you rather than the technical subjugation of life. You are instead using the emotional harmonization with creative life forces. Does that make sense? So, yeah. Just like Naruto's music is reused over and over and over and over again, they pretty much like listen to the songs and they build like these scenes based around how the music evokes emotions. And that's kind of cool, but they just need more music. They need more emotions, you know. I can't hear the exact repeat of musical scores over and over and over again for different scenes because I'm just getting packaged a product, you know. It's basically Pokemon number 500 at that point. You're just like, okay, it's just trash. It's just sell the product, make the money, you know. That's what it is. It's a hustle. It's a hustle, you know. But anyway, what's up, Raven? Yeah, I get visited by crows. I got Itachi lines. You don't see that? I do. Sometimes in certain lights, I got Itachi lines. Yeah, had them. But I'm a third eye master. I'm actually enlightened. So, anyway, thanks for watching. This is my synopsis and commentary on Naruto. I had crushes on a few of the girls in Naruto, and I wanted them in real life, and they never showed up. I tried. I've tried to manifest girlfriends, but it's not as having a girlfriend isn't as simple as the childish male ego wants it out to be. It's actually like a lot more going on there. So, and you don't want somebody that you can like. As a guy, I realize I can convince women to be with me. Yeah, I could ask a girl out and ask her out again and then get her to go with me, and then, you know, a few weeks later, because we're hanging out, she's my girlfriend. But just because you can force a person to do that doesn't mean you should. And what I'm interested in is like really high soul contacts, like people where like literally like people whose souls together cause synchronicities, cause miracles, right? Like I've got miracle stories all day. I could tell you all about it. Um, anyway, yeah. And no, I'm not a Christian. I think occultism is real, and I think Christianity was made up by occultists, which the Holy Romans were. You know, Christianity is a Roman invention, and yeah, it put peace to the minds of Rome, but it did so by replacing the human lord with the celestial one. And the problem with the Bible is it doesn't have early Earth historicity. It just gives explanations. It's just like the Bible's origin story is as real as Naruto's origin story. It's early storytelling. It's pretty clear. Doesn't mean there's no mystical. Doesn't mean there's not a spirit. It does mean that human beings can make it up and people can be like lemmings, you know. But yeah, Naruto is obviously a show about war. It wants to have reasons for people to fight. And it tries to have every character be the super coolest ultimate that has a secret edge, but every single one of them has it and it just kind of ends up going nowhere with it. Like, I don't know. I feel like the series sets up problems well. It sets up suffering of the characters well. Like every character in that series is fucking suffering, but it doesn't really do anything with their emotions that's productive, and it doesn't do anything with their emotions that changes. You know, just like the music's the same music every time, and just like Naruto's always using Shadow Clone and Rasengan, and Kakashi has Chidori, and then Sasuke has again Chidori. He's always throwing out his Chidoris. You know what I mean? He's like, make your hands into lightning. They won't see that coming. Like, where's a high level? Where's Sasuke discovering a high level technique that only he has? Right? Where's Naruto discovering a high level technique that only he has? He always gets stuff from other people, right? I guess his technique would be using a Rasengan using shadow clones, right? Or having Nine Tails energy. But yeah, all the main protagonists in Naruto have all their powers and situations basically gifted to them, and they have pretty hardcore try fail cycles. Like Naruto, every single fight is gonna get bloody and beaten. Like Naruto gets fucking clowned in every single fight before he wins, and same thing with Goku. But anyway, it could be better. It could be better. There's times I want to press pause and go like, God, it would have been good if this happened. You know, if I had a phone to Naruto HQ and a Japanese translator, you know, and the ability to put my will into the show, I'd be happy. If I could put my will into the Naruto, I'd be happy. I would make some changes. Like Danzo was stupid. I hated Danzo. The whole idea that you can change what happened, but you lose your eye. Like they just straight up bend that for certain characters. They're like, yeah, he used that technique, but he's still going somehow. You know, it's just kind of like it's just a weird show. It is. It's a Japanese. It's a Japanese power fantasy, and it is. I think marketed for American audiences because anything blue eyes, blonde hair. You know, you're trying to bring in more than just your Japanese people. But yeah, I felt like Naruto growing up. Nobody wants to be your friend. You have this deep burning, this huge burning desire to be important and to matter in the lives of others, and everyone cold shoulders you and makes you feel insignificant. Like I got that suffering, and you're like that, do 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 do, like crying at that, like, oh, poor Naruto. But it's just a show. They reuse the music, they reuse the abilities, and when it's time for a new series, he took Naruto and made Boruto. And it's just like the way Bor works into it. It's like he's telling you. It's literally like the author is like, yeah, it's a piece of shit. If you were to really ask the creator of Naruto what it is, he'd say it's just trash. You know what I mean? Like that's the sense I get from him. And yeah, I don't really. It needs an invigoration of creativity. It does, and it needs to seriously parallel the lives of its viewers, and it just fails on both of those. So Naruto, it was good. I'm glad it exists. You know, it's not easy to animate thousands of episodes. I'm glad they did that, but I don't care anymore. Not really. So thanks for watching.